Is this the moment the Lakers finally pull the trigger on a move that reshapes the foundation of their roster? Could a player emerge from the shadows of the Western Conference and stand alongside LeBron James and Anthony Davis, not just as a role player, but as a defensive titan who transforms the purple and gold into an impenetrable fortress? Lakers fans, strap in, because what I'm about to share cuts to the core of the team's front office chess game and has massive implications for the next few seasons. Welcome back to Lakers News Fan Report, where raw truths collide with purple and gold passion. Smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so your heart never misses a beat. Now, let's talk Walker Kessler. For those locked into the Lakers universe, this isn't just a name tossed around like a trade filler. It's a conversation years in the making. The Lakers have held a keen interest in Walker Kessler, the Utah Jazz's defensive center, for over a year now, eyeing him as the glue to complete the LeBron and AD eras on the court. And here's the kicker. Kessler isn't just another big man. He's one of the NBA's premier rim protectors, an elite shot blocker who intimidates opponents without fouling out of games, and a rebounding machine who commands respect on both ends. You want defense? He's the kind that forces a second thought before drivers even reach the paint. You want offense? His athleticism makes him a credible threat to finish lobs and putbacks, elevating the Lakers' transition game while locking down opponents. The Lakers have seen in him a rare blend of youth talent and a rookie-friendly salary. That contract? A low-cost deal before becoming a restricted free agent, perfect for a team staring down big contracts with LeBron and AD still leading the charge. The front office has dreamed quietly but persistently. Imagine pairing Kessler's defensive anchor with Russell Westbrook's energy, Rui Hachimura's versatility, and D'Angelo Russell's scoring. It sounds like the ideal blueprint for a championship-caliber roster in a Western Conference that's growing more dangerous by the day. But here's the twist. The Jazz aren't about to let him go cheap. The Lakers face a steep price. Utah reportedly demands not one, but 2 first-round picks plus a young player to sweeten the deal. A price tag that weighs heavily against the Lakers' current assets. And that's the sticking point. Utah's valuation of Kessler has skyrocketed after he cemented his status as a full-time starter and began delivering consistent production. What was once a tantalizing gamble now feels like a nearly impossible barrier. The Jazz even seem poised to hold tight unless the returns meet their hefty standards. So, why hasn't the Lakers front office capitulated? Because they see potential in being creative, perhaps turning a future first-round pick into something more enticing or aligning with a third team flush with assets to ease the load. Call it the art of the trade. Call it desperation to reshape a team straddled between its present stars and the fading echoes of past glory. Remember, the dominance of the Showtime's fast breaks, Shaq and Kobe's dynasties, the Paul Gasol-led finals runs, and the hard-won bubble championship in 2020. The Lakers have always been a franchise that strategizes beyond a single deal. But here's the detail no one's talking about, while so much buzz surrounds. Kessler's defensive fit, his elite rim protection, and ability to slot seamlessly into Frank Vogel's defensive schemes. The Lakers' current roster already boasts some intriguing pieces. Gabe Vincent's perimeter defense, Austin Reeves' rising star power, and Jared Vanderbilt's relentless hustle mean the Lakers have more building blocks than we usually credit them for. Adding Kessler might be the signal that management truly believes in a defense-first identity moving forward. Yet, the price could force tough decisions on which young pieces the Lakers are willing to part ways with a high-stakes gamble when you consider how important youthful energy has been to the team's recent identity. At the same time, there's the market context for 2025 rumors swirling about buyouts, potential blockbuster trades, and a Western Conference arms race that underlines how critical it is to get this right. Will Kessler be the key to unlocking a Lakers era that can wrestle the Western crown from Golden State and Denver? Or will trading multiple future assets mortgage the franchise's flexibility for years? The tension rises, and so does the pressure on the front office to maneuver with surgical precision. Looking back, the Lakers have navigated choppy waters before, whether trading for Poe Gasol to challenge Detroit or the tumultuous last days of Kobe's twilight with the franchise, balancing superstar aging with the need for fresh talent. Every era has its trade-offs, every big move its risks. But is this the moment that history remembers? Or just another near miss like so many before? As a lifelong Lakers believer, I can't help but feel we're on the edge of something massive. The pieces are on the table, whispers in the locker room grow louder, and the stakes have never felt higher. But is this the move that launches a new Lakers epic one, where Kessler anchors the defense, LeBron and AD find renewed legacy, and the franchise reclaims championship glory? Or is it the gamble that haunts us for years, tearing apart our prized assets without delivering the ultimate prize? I want to know what you think. Drop your unfiltered takes in the comments below. I'll be right there, heart in hand, ready to debate, agree, or even disagree as we ride this roller coaster together. Because in Lakers Nation, every rumor holds a dream and every dream demands hope. Hold on to your hats, Lakers fans, because what just dropped isn't just a move, it's an earthquake shaking every corner of the Western Conference. And if you think this is just a blip on the Lakers' radar, think again. Smash that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell, because the fallout from this decision is only getting started. And it's about to drag the purple and gold into a swirling storm of questions nobody knows how to answer yet. With the roster upheaval we've just seen, the ripple effects reach far beyond Staples Center. This isn't just about depth charts or who sits on the bench anymore. It's about the very chemistry that has defined LeBron and AD's partnership. A duo already walking a tightrope, balancing championship aspirations and aging bodies. Can this revamped lineup handle the physical toll of another playoff run? Or will rotation tinker and shoving in new faces while veterans battle wear and throw the Lakers into chaos? The West isn't waiting around either, with Denver, Phoenix, and the ever-hungry Warriors snapping at our heels. Every minute LeBron and the crew spend adjusting to new roles could be the edge that cost them a playoff seed, or worse, an early exit. But here's the part nobody's talking about: this front office shuffle. This daring talent gamble might not just be about this season, but setting the stage for what comes after the Kings era fades. Could this be Rob Pelinka subtly planting seeds for a seismic rebuild? One that acknowledges the immediate pain for the chance at a renewed dynasty founded on youth and flexibility. History whispers caution in our ears. The Showtime Lakers had their magic, but also their clashes behind closed doors. Kobe's era was marked by peaks and valleys, triumph and turmoil. And just recently, the 2020 bubble showed resilience, but exposed cracks in roster depth. Is this new Lakers squad prepared to learn from those chapters, or doomed to repeat the same mistakes under the unforgiving glare of expectations? Now zoom in on the hardwood. AD, already carrying a heavy load, may be asked to recalibrate his game within a shifting puzzle, while LeBron contends with his own minutes management, flirting with both greatness and fragility in the twilight of his career. Every substitution becomes a question mark. Every defensive assignment a test. Every offensive set a gamble. Is the spacing clean enough to keep AD living at the rim, or will clogged lanes force tough mid-range bailouts? Can the secondary ball handlers take pressure off LeBron without turning the offense into a turnover festival? And while the Lakers shuffle pieces, the surrounding contenders sharpen their claws, playing this evolving chess match with calculated bets of their own long wings. In Denver closing windows, Phoenix hunting matchups, the Warriors reviving their third action chaos that punishes hesitation. The real wild card? Chemistry. Talent means little if egos clash or roles become murky, something the purple and gold have been haunted by since the last rebuild. Will the locker room rally around a shared identity, talk early, hit first, defend together, or will old patterns resurface? Slow starts, stalled half-court possessions, and finger-pointing after blown coverages? Leadership by committee sounds nice until the fourth quarter of a Game 5, when someone has to decide the possession and someone else has to live with that decision. Does this group embrace those roles or drift into that gray zone where everyone's trying to be a hero and nobody's being the glue? Coaching becomes the pressure valve. Can the staff craft a rotation that protects legs now and buys execution later? Can they package defensive rules that are simple enough to survive fatigue nail help? Low man present. No middle yet flexible enough to toggle coverages when superstars start solving the puzzle mid-series. Expect more ghost screens for LeBron. To force switches, more snug pick and rolls for a D to punish smaller defenders. More empty corner actions to unclog the strong side. But schemes only matter if the players commit to the ugly work, tagging the roller, finishing defensive stands with two bodies on a body, sprinting back after misses, and swallowing pride when the scouting report says one more pass. Front. Office stakes are enormous. If this gamble stabilizes the season, Pelinka looks like a chess player who sacrificed a pawn to win the endgame. If it sputters, the microscope zooms in. Wrong archetypes, mistimed bets, assets burned for marginal gains. The Lakers don't get to fail quietly. Every move is judged against banners, not box scores. That's the tax of legacy, and it's due every spring. Think about matchups that will decide the truth. Against Denver, can the Lakers shrink the floor for Murray without overexposing the corners? And can a D navigate Jokic's gravity without living in foul trouble? Against Phoenix, do they have the screen navigation and the weak side discipline to survive a mid-range clinic? Against the Warriors, can they kill the third action split cuts, flares, and rescreens before it turns into a backdoor layup? Against young, hungry squads with a dozen legs and no fear, can the Lakers turn experience into inevitability rather than nostalgia? There's also the calendar, that silent enemy. Back-to-back stack up, travel drags, small injuries become bigger. Stories. Can the team bank wins early while the system is still drying paint? Can role players seize 8 invisible points, a night one extra defensive rebound, one baseline drift 3, one deflection that turns into a runout, so LeBron doesn't have to be a superhero in January to have gas in June? Depth isn't just names. It's repeatable competence. The 11th man has to be trustworthy for 6 emergency minutes when foul trouble hits. The 8th man has to swing a game with 3 boring plays in a row. That's the difference between a 5 seed praying for health and a 3 seed controlling its path. Narrative pressure is real too. The Lakers can't simply be good. They must look inevitable. That's how doubt stays quiet and how crypto, yeah, we know what the sign says now, starts humming again. 1 or 2 statement wins can reset a season's mood overnight. Defend without fouling, win the glass, and trust the pass. Suddenly the offense breathes, the bench feels like an asset, and the late game execution looks like muscle memory instead of guesswork. But if they stumble, the autopsy will be swift. We'll talk about spacing that never settled, a defense that bent at the point of attack, minutes piled on the wrong legs, and a front office that aimed for optionality but landed in mediocrity. That's the razor's edge, brilliance or burnout. And there's no hiding place in the West, not with upstarts who spring through every transition and veterans who weaponize your smallest indecision dot. So here we are, on a precipice that feels painfully familiar and wildly new at the same time. The moves are made, the die is cast, and the questions are louder than the answers. Is this the masterstroke that recenters the franchise around Ad's dominance and LeBron's orchestration, stitched together by role players who finally own their jobs? Or is it the first crack in a wall that's been holding back the tide for years? Can the Lakers turn the whirlwind into wind in their sails, or will they get spun around by the very turbulence they created? Picture a D sealing deep, LeBron probing, a shooter lifting from the corner at the perfect beat clean. Clinical basketball that silences an arena and makes the broadcast booth whisper. That's championship stuff. Then picture the nightmare. A turnover at the nail, a slow transition match, a corner 3 on the other end, and the camera catching shoulders sagging. Those are the inches that define a season. Those are the inches this gamble is supposed to buy back out as a Lakers fan. I can feel the weight of history pressing on this very moment. Every decision echoes through the years, each play potentially defining legacies. Are we witnessing the rebirth of a dynasty forged in calculated risk and grit? Or are we at the beginning of a fracture that could unravel everything purple and gold stands for? The court is set, the players are lined up, but the outcome is far from certain. The margin is thin, the expectations are heavy, and the runway is short. If the pieces click, this becomes the kind of team that strangles fourth quarters and turns 7-game series into inevitability. If they don't, we'll be here dissecting the missteps, frame by frame, wondering how a season that started with boldness ended with familiar regrets. Drop your raw takes in the comments, I'll be right there with you, riding every twist of this wild Lakers ride. Tell me which lineup you trust in the clutch, which matchup scares you, which young piece you think is ready to pop. Tell me if you see a plan or just noise. Because make no mistake, this is the inflection point. Either the Lakers bend the season to their will or the season bends them into something forgettable. And in this city, forgettable has never been an option.